Halloween
Forever.
Did you guys hear the one about the three vampire cowboys sitting at the saloon?
No, Brian.
No, you didn't? Okay, it's because I just made it up. So there was there's these three vampire cowboys, right? They're sitting at the bar at the saloon, and they're debating on how they can figure out who's the most badass vampire cowboy, right? And the one goes, "I am definitely the most badass vampire cowboy. Watch this." He disappears, reappears 10 seconds later, blood all over his face, and he goes, "Yeah, guess what? I just drained the blood of all the people sitting in the upstairs parlor." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever." The other guy goes, "Watch this." Disappears. 10 seconds later, reappears. Points out the swinging door, says, "You see that saloon over there? I just drained the blood of someone sitting over in that saloon over there." The other guy goes, "Fuck that noise." Disappears. Comes back 10 seconds later, whole body covered in blood. He says, "You see that cactus over there?" They're like, "Yeah." He goes, "Fuck, I didn't." Welcome, boys and girls, to another fucking episode of the Halloween is Forever podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I am Steve.
And I'm also very disappointed.
That was a strong joke.
That took as long to get to it as my movie did to get to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is to say 52 minutes roughly. Speaking of absolute piece of shit material, guys, we have a motherfucking slobber knocker of a Showdown episode for you this month. This being our March Showdown, believe it or not. Pretty wild to think about. It is already March and we're already doing this goddamn Showdown. If you will recall, in previous episodes we have already discussed the topic that you, our lovely spooky ooky listeners out there, helped us to select is Old West horror. I guess before we get into that, I should probably explain, for those who are new to the podcast, we still are gathering new listeners on a weekly basis. I kind of forget that from time to time, but every month we do one of our 4 episodes is a Showdown episode. We have 3 topics that come from a long list of suggestions and things that we came up with, potential topics, and we put out on the social medias, and you, the listeners, and social media friends and all that sort of thing help us pick which one you want to see us do. Once we have that, we each select a movie, and then we all watch all 3 movies, and then we argue about it, and then we vote, and then one of us reigns supreme for the month. One of us is the goddamn champ, takes home that championship belt, that goddamn shoulder candy, which Meg coming to I mean, she's on the verge of the first ever I don't know, what do you call that, triple crown? I mean, is it officially a dynasty?
Oh my gosh,
at
I
3?
would love for you guys to call it that.
Yeah,
a turkey.
I am a show pony here.
A turkey. It's a turkey in bowling terms. But so she has won, regrettably, the last 2 consecutive months. So this month, I'm going to propose something, guys. We're gonna do this live on the spot here, and I'm you know what? I'm just spitballing. So let's fight about it. We decided, when we got Western horror, that we were going to not pick the predictable movies, right? Which is like Bone Tomahawk and Ravenous. Like, those are the 2 like ones that are like very famous, obviously very good Western horror movies. So we started poking around on the old Bible, which is to say the Tubi app, and we found what I like to call the Old Testament on the Tubi app. And we found that there is a absolute shitload, especially of like early to mid 2000s to like early to mid 2010s. There's 750 shitty horror Western movies. So we decided we were going to go kind of lowbrow with this one, right?
Yeah.
We have all agreed already that all 3 of our movies are dog poop, right? We are in agreement to this?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Some of our listeners have also agreed upon this as well, and have sent us messages.
I did. Yeah. Who messaged me recently, and but I'm pretty sure it was Ben. It was, yes. Ben messaged me on Thursday night and said, "These old Western Showdown movies, ... woof." And I said,
gets it.
I said, fair, but they'll be good to talk about. So he obviously is going along this down this dirty, rotten fucking path with us. But here's my proposal: do we vote? And we kind of go golf score, or we go golf scoring rules, and whoever's is the worst or whoever's the lowest score wins, and we just go for whoever's the shittiest.
I don't think there's any other option at this point. I feel like my entire review of this is like, this movie sucks.
Yeah,
And
we obviously already. We all feel a little bit differently, I see. So I am actually interested to see how this plays out. But do we want to award the belt to the person with the worst movie?
I think we still just got to vote our heart.
Okay.
And it's because...
Peace be with you, Steve.
Yeah. And
I know what's in my heart as far as what I want to tolerate, what I'm willing to talk about.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And all three movies are bad in their own separate way.
They are true.
So
we are going to go with our favorite, though. We're going to go with our favorite. We're not going to go with the best movies. We're just going to say what our favorite is. Okay, fair enough. Because I have a clear one coming in. We'll get into it.
I think it is fair to say to the audience, though, whatever wins today, it's not the best.
No.
It wins on whatever merits that we decide it wins on.
Correct. Right. Yes. Fair enough. Because
what a wild card of a month, though, guys. To be real.
I mean, we definitely. First of all, the topic that we didn't think was going to win got picked, and then we decided we made this just flippant. Obviously, total lapse in judgment, where we all agreed to pick intentionally shitty movies, and I was like, that's normally my bag. I'm the one who picks the piece of shit movie. And now and then you guys gang up on me about why my movie's a piece of shit. And then I explain that it is a piece of shit, but that I like it. This time around, we all picked piece of shit. This is like the Brian movie episode. We all picked piece of shit movies.
We really missed branding opportunity and should have been calling this In the Mouth of March Madness. From the beginning.
Where are these fucking genius ideas, Steve? Ahead of the fucking fact. Burying the lead. God damn you. All right. Yeah. So, but they are going to be fun to talk about, I think. But before we get into them, we got some other damn things we got to do. Before I forget, I'll say this. If you want to help us pick these topics, if you want to suggest topics to us, we're going to be doing a couple of damn mini-sodes here coming up quick that are topics that were suggested by listeners and social media friends as well. So throw us those suggestions. Slide into the old DMs. It's cozy in there. Slip on in. Slide in. Drop
Brian,
it.
you're not selling it right now.
Drop it. Go like this. Just release a suggestion into our warm, moist DMs, and then we'll take one of them.
I'm mortified right now. Brian, you're not selling this.
Meg's eyes bulged out of her head when I said that. And then leave one for us, and then we might use it or not. Maybe we'll just release it back into the wild. I don't know. But follow us on social medias at Halloween is Forever on the Instagram. Halloween is Forever podcast on Facebook. It's at Hallow Forever on Twitter. It's at Halloween is Forever pod on the old Tiki Talkies. Or if you want to send us an email, it's halloweenisforeverpod@gmail.com. What is everybody drinking right now? I'll go first because I always feel like I make you guys go first. Is everybody all right with that?
Go for it.
All right, because I'm double fisted.
This is your episode.
This is the Brian episode.
This is the Brian episode.
It's horse shit. Yeah, Brian rules means everything's garbage. It's dumpster fire. I am double fisting coffee and beer here because I'm fucking exhausted.
What is your mug, dude? Oh, I love your mug.
Oh, that's my reanimator, recaffeinator mug. it's got a little Herbert West on there, and he's got like the serum, but instead of the serum, it's coffee, and he's got all his science things are all coffee paraphernalia. This is an Etsy buy. It's where all the best things come from.
Nice.
And then beer-wise, not a surprise here. I'm just about to crack into a little Sly Fox Helles lager because that's what I got on hand, and that's what's cold, and that's what you're drinking good with these damn freshies. Hashtag EMP, guys. Brought a lot of beer back from the brewery. It's fresh as fuck, so I'm going to be drinking it. So nice. little golden loggy boy for me this evening. What do you guys got?
Have you guys ever heard of whiskey? Because that's what I decided to drink tonight.
I'm familiar. I like to call it brown party liquor.
I got some white party liquor tonight.
Ooh,
it's
a
white whiskey from Three Floyds Distilling. It's their Divine Right. And when I was at the store earlier, I picked up some like polar seltzer water that, it was like what fucking flavor? Oh, prickly pear and citrus, and it sounded delicious. So, and can confirm this is a great, easy drinking sipper for the night.
You're basically drinking like. I always think when I mix white whiskey into things, which I rarely do, but when I do, it reminds me of tequila in a lot of ways, like white tequila.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Tastes like white tequila in a lot of ways to me, especially with some citrus. But that sounds pretty refreshing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I was like, I didn't have any beer cold, but I was like, you know what? I have plenty of whiskey right now. But speaking of tequila, this is a sidebar question. Have either of you guys had Sotol? It's like kind of falls into the tequila family, but it's its own plant.
No. I don't think so.
I've had friends like tell me about it, and someone actually told me recently that there's like agave is like not a shortage of sorts, but like it's being like a lot of people are drinking tequila, so there is a little bit of a shortage on agave. So people are like growing this plant, the Sotol plant, instead because it grows a little bit easier. So when I'm in Texas next week, I'll bring some back.
Yeah, I've not even heard of that. That's what's hot in the streets right now, I guess, huh? I don't know. I usually am. Listen, I learn about things way after they're cool. So it is not surprising to learn that I have not heard of it, but it does sound interesting. Yeah. So is it? It's a big fibrous plant, I would assume. Big starchy fibrous plant. I would assume.
I actually don't know if I've seen a picture of one, but I'll look it up before I go.
What if it's just like another word for potato, and it's just it's just a fucking potato? It's just potato vodka.
I don't know if I'd be disappointed versus excited. I don't know. As long as it's good, I'll be like, I don't care what form
There's
it comes in.
There's just like a bunch of Polish guys down in Mexico with sombreros laughing. We told them this is some type of tequila. It's just fucking Polish potato vodka.
We got them so good.
We got them so good. They're just eating pierogies like potato chips.
Yeah.
Which is what I was doing yesterday. If you saw on the Instagrams, I ate, I don't know, 40, 90 pierogies yesterday. That might be why I feel like I got hit by a truck today.
That's a lot of starch.
Probably.
I ate a lot of starch. A lot of potatoes, a lot of cottage cheese, a lot of butter as well. Just because they're fried up in butter.
That sounds really healthy.
We do the cheese. They do the cheese filled ones, onion and cheese, and it's like cottage cheese, but it's like dry cottage cheese.
So I like cottage cheese pierogies. Like there is a BBT, like Bloomfield Bridge Tavern, that used to be open, and they would always have like sauerkraut, cottage cheese, and like potato.
Yeah,
and they're so good.
The cheese, the cottage cheese, the Polish cottage cheese, which is not. It's like not creamy. It's like it is, but it's like it doesn't. It's not like you just got like a tub of cottage cheese at the fucking store and put it in there. It's not wet like that. You know what I mean?
I'm going to put this idea into our listeners' heads. I think people should get a tub of cottage cheese and like dip their pierogies in it and then eat it like a potato one.
I would do that. I would do that.
Sounds so good right now.
I would do that. I fucking love cottage cheese. Steve's making a big old sad frowny face. You're not a cottage cheese guy?
Mm-mm.
No, I fucking love cottage cheese. You know what I put on cottage cheese?
What?
Just fuck tons of pepper, black pepper.
Nice.
I literally will get like a tub of cottage cheese. I'll just crack black pepper all over the top, eat it out of the thing, and then once I eat that top layer, I'll put more pepper and then eat the next layer. Fuck yeah, dude. I'll rip into some.
You're incredibly excited about this.
It is. Steve is looking at me with more disdain than he's ever looked at me before, and I've said horrifying shit in his presence before.
I have never heard of that.
Really?
I think both of you are the only two people in my life right now that like cottage cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I grew up on cottage cheese like crazy.
I think you need to find better friends.
Pineapples. Yeah.
I actually the last tub I got, I had caraway sauerkraut on hand too, and put that on it.
Fuck yes, I would fuck that up too.
Fucking good.
Yeah.
I have not heard of any of this.
You're just bewildered. Steve is just bewildered. It's like it's like we just told him that like he was adopted or something. Like it's just like pure bewilderment on his face right now.
I could never imagine.
I never thought it would come to this.
Yeah. Just like not only are there people who just eat tubs of cottage cheese, but they layer black pepper all over it. It's like what kind of diet is that? I don't I thought
don't you see these physiques, Steve?
Yeah,
but no, I understand. But I thought like we were all kind of in agreement with like, yeah, we're into like garbage shit of like, yeah, let's eat fucking mustard and brunchwager together.
Yeah,
we're all together on that. But now we have this big divergence between us of like what the fuck is cottage cheese? That's crazy.
Now here's another question, and we haven't discussed this, I don't think, ever before, so this might put further strain on our friendship. Do you drink, like, would you drink a glass of milk?
Yeah,
me too.
Only if it had ice in it.
Oh, I mean,
okay.
I like it when it's like super, super fucking cold. Like
I do love super cold milk. I wouldn't put ice in it because I don't like to get watered down. But I get what you're saying, because I love when you're outside working. This is some people at home are going to be gagging. When you come inside,
I'm
it's
a
hot.
little bit.
A fucking really cold glass of milk is very refreshing to me.
Why is it so good though?
I know. I love it. I love it.
I also will get very specific on when I drink it, when I'm eating spaghetti specifically.
It was a dinner thing for me. Like when we were kids, it wasn't like, what are you going to drink with dinner? It was like, everybody, glass of milk. It was just like we had a milk fridge. Me and my brother would easily drink a gallon of milk a day. Easily. We used to have, I'm not even joking, I don't know if he's listening here, he can comment and confirm this. We used to have 5-6 gallons of milk in this fridge on hand at any given time.
That's insane.
Wow.
Wait,
me and my brother
a 2%er? Is this whole milk or
no? We would occasionally get whole milk. We were typically a 2% family.
Yeah.
As a kid, yeah, we were a 2% family. But we would crush milk.
I really want to share with you guys one of the most disgusting things that my parents brought into my house as a child.
Steve's already making a face. I can't stop looking at Steve's face.
I mean, I grew up in a household with 3 other siblings, and so obviously it was just okay, whatever is the cheapest. But the most disgusting drink that my parents gave to me at dinner was root beer juice.
Was what?
Root beer juice. It was non-carbonated, not good. I could not choke it down.
You don't just say
I don't know.
Don't just say that.
Say.
Tell us what it is.
It's juice that's tastes like root beer, and it's watered down root beer that's
is
not
this a
carbonated.
Homemade thing?
No, it was in a gallon jug.
Was
what
it a
store?
Concentrate?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember that. I'm talking about this is
gallon jug.
Yeah.
Was it orange drink or blue drink or purple drink kind of
stuff?
It
was that, but root beer flavored.
Whoa.
Fucking
I mean,
awful.
I've never
if someone
heard
can
about that.
find that or be
I'll
yo.
probably, here's my thing is why don't you just drink root beer?
Because there were 4 kids in this house, and that's too expensive.
I feel like I'd be really into that, but
I probably would too. I fucking love root beer. I eat root beer.
Too,
I mean, we've established I eat root beer candies like they're fucking going out of style. I always have a pocket full of them. I just give them to little kids on the street.
But as a juice, it fucks with your brain.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. You said juice, and that threw me for a loop. But it's juice. It's juice like Kool-Aid is a juice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging. When I was a kid, I definitely thought Kool-Aid was juice. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we were the type of family where Kool-Aid is juice.
I too thought Kool-Aid was juice.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I just thought tropical punch was they just like juiced a bunch of really delicious tropical fruits, and they all happen to be red.
So, like, if you look up root beer juice on Google, it just comes up with a bunch of like Juul and e-cigarette
It's just a
stuff.
snuff film.
Oh God.
It's just called.
Yeah.
If you just
shit.
Google root beer juice, it's just a snuff film.
Yeah, guys, I was actually lying. We were just vaping.
Yeah, but I will agree with Meg on
drinking vape fluid.
I'll agree with Meg on this in that so there's like those mix-in drink packets out there that you just put in the water.
Sure.
There's root beer flavored ones, and I do get those.
Really? See, I never looked.
Because it's like a 0 calorie, root beer rather than drinking a whole bunch of fucking soda.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm still grossed out by that. This is not a good memory.
Yeah. This isn't like a nostalgia trip down, memory lane, pleasant stroll down memory lane. Yeah, no, I probably would like it because I fucking love like root beer and root beer flavored things. Like a root beer float is like one of my favorite fucking things. I adore a root beer float. Like on a hot day, goddamn, I love a root beer float. Or birch beer. Boy, just birch beer, root beer, and milk. I'll live on it. Throw a beer in there, some coffee. I think I'm Pennsylvania Dutch. I'm not sure.
Is a root beer float almost just like root beer milk? Because I feel like now you just need to mix the two together.
Well, they have root beer milk over Windy Ridge Dairy over in Fombell. Oh yeah. They have chocolate milk. They have chocolate milk. They have all the different, flavored milks. They have pumpkin milk at, around Halloween. But they have root beer milk. It's good as hell.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's so rich. It's unbelievable. Like, if you've ever had their chocolate milk, it's like life-alteringly delicious, but it almost tastes like melted ice cream. Like, it's so rich.
Okay.
It's so rich. But yeah, they have root beer milk. It's fantastic. It does seem like a little. So basically, all it is you just put a couple scoops of vanilla ice cream, or really any ice cream. I do vanilla ice cream in big goddamn New Brighton hot dog shop cup, and then you pour some root beer over it. That's all. Eat it with a spoon. It's delicious. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Now I actually probably need to find one in the next few days.
Yeah. I mean, the recipe, I just spelled it out. There it is. There it is. What are you drinking, Steve?
Oh yeah, we're still doing that.
What if Steve was just like, and he just picked up a gallon jug of like a root beer juice?
I found root beer juice in the house. No, I am drinking from Empire Brewing Company, which is up in New York, which I assume is the origins of. Yeah, seems like the origins of root beer juice as well. So,
that's in. I've been there. I've been to Empire Brewing Company.
Been to Empire?
Yeah.
Cool. I have their Skinny Atlas Cranberry Kolsch German style ale.
That's a lot of words, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. I don't think it's as good as like a straight up Reichdorf. That's kind of my benchmark for Kolsch.
I'm glad you said that because I feel like I never know how to pronounce it.
I just say it that way.
Reichdorf, yeah.
Reichdorf. But
Reichdorf.
Yeah, it's a nice, easy drinking beer, and it has like a little bit of a ocean spray back into it. So it's good beer.
Nice.
Yeah, why was that? Because we go to upstate New York in the summertime. Sometimes go up there, stay in a cabin, swim in the lake, and we went into town because it's in Rochester, right?
It might be outside of Rochester. I forget what it says on the can. It's packaged in Ellicottville and Little Valley. So it's
that's probably $20 says they probably actually work with Ellicottville Brewing Company.
Yeah, they
like
contract brew their package stuff, maybe.
Yeah. I think
possible.
so because I always see them in the same place.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure they probably contract brew it there or something. But right on. So we have beers. We've talked about beers. It is time to get into these son of a bitching movies. These damn. Now, I want to point out, because Meg is going to determine who goes in what order, as is tradition. The champ determines the order here. But I will remind you that two of you, meaning you guys, picked both picked vampire westerns.
I know mine's more of a zombie thing.
Yeah.
Yours is kind of yours feels more like a vampire movie.
It's like this.
Hers
Actually,
is vague.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
very vague, but they refer to them as the undead. So that's,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Like, but I think instead of like drinking blood, they're like skinning people.
Yeah, they're more worried about the skin, but there is
Right.
like from what I understand though, they live on blood, right?
Mm.
Yeah, remember when they're like dumping all the blood down the fucking, like they harvest people's blood and shit, don't they?
I don't recall.
I
Maybe-
thought that
maybe
was just
not.
a thing.
I mean, the only blood I'm like actively remembering is like the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's that. Well, maybe they're just ghouls in general, but in any case, listen, maybe it's a moot point. Fuck me, right? So what you tell us what you want to tell us what order we're gonna go in. What do you think?
I'm more curious about what your point was going to be.
Well, because I was gonna say, do we want to break up the vampire movies? Because mine is more of a zombie situation, and yours are both vampire movies. But
I
guess
think
it doesn't really
I'm
matter
still
either way.
gonna go second, but I was gonna maybe flip you. Who went first last time? Because I feel like Brian, you did maybe in the last showdown. So I was maybe
do
gonna
not recall.
That's fine. Steve, you will start. I will go
Mm-hmm.
second, and Brian will wrap it up.
I'll wrap it up. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it.
I'm good with that because I'm not going to take a lot of time.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I think it's probably fair to say we're not going to be doing a real thorough plot synopses
Oh,
of
this
any
isn't
of
going to
these
be a
movies.
4-hour episode.
Probably not. I don't
Probably
think
not.
anybody really.
Try not.
This isn't a field in England. I don't think we need to really get deep and philosophical about, Bloodrayne 2,
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
I
but-
honestly do want to spend more time on both of your films. I find them more interesting in what they do wrong.
Yeah.
I am shocked at okay. A little backstory in case you're a new listener, and this is your first episode. I had originally announced that I wanted to just do a straight up punishment movie and make everybody sad because I thought Brian and Meg were going to take Ravenous and Bone Tomahawk, and I was
Right.
going to be left with all these random dregs. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to commit right now to do Uwe Boll's Bloodrayne 2 Deliverance because Uwe Boll is one of the most reviled directors out there.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know, this film isn't his worst.
It definitely isn't. I mean, and I've
It
probably
really
only
isn't.
seen like 3 of his movies.
Yeah.
I was actually, and don't get me wrong, this is dog shit.
Yeah, it's
but
bad.
it is not anywhere nearly as bad as some of his other ones.
No.
Not
And
at all.
I felt ripped off.
You
were
tried to
upset.
go. You were like a suicide bomber who ran into the building, and then it was a dud, and it didn't go off.
Instead of
Then
my
he opened
best,
it up, and instead of being strapped to your chest was a bunch of dynamite, it was just pool noodles.
yeah, it was just like the New Year's Eve confetti poppers. Like I just popped a bunch of New Year's Eve confetti poppers, and I went, oh,
Shit. And then
this is awkward now, isn't it? But
yeah.
well, the film is, obviously based off video game properties because that's what he's most famous for doing, adapting video games into shitty movies as a German tax dodge. That was his whole gimmick throughout the 2000s. And he has some really, really awful shit like Alone in the Dark, Postal. He has a series of movies called Rampage films, which are basically just glorifying mass shooters.
Oh God.
And they are abysmal and just awful to their core.
Yeah.
And the star of those films is actually in this movie.
What did he play in this movie?
The character of Mueller.
I did not take the time to memorize any of these people's names.
So the character that's in the jail cell, who's kind of the exposition dump for when Rayne gets put in the jail cell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's the star of these Rampage films,
Interesting.
and just they are some of the most awful shit.
Yeah.
ever done,
Just fucking despicably bad. Like not even bad, just like exploitation to a despicable level. I think even like for all the wrong exploitation for all the wrong reasons, which sounds like a double negative, but it's not. Like
It's not. It's just bad.
yeah.
Yeah. But this film, Bloodrayne 2, it's just a kind of boring, serviceable vampires in the Old West film. And it's on like a small scale. It's not terribly intriguing in any way. There's nothing very interesting about any of the characters, and it's a real kind of bore.
Yeah.
there's some good points, but overall, bleh.
Yeah, I mean, just a clinic on stock footage and whooshing noises. Like that's the whole fucking movie. And jerky, shitty camera work, and like the frame dimensions are all fucked up. It's shot extremely poorly.
So the original Bloodrayne that was directed by Uwe Boll stars Kristanna Loken, who was the TX in Terminator 3. In this film, he couldn't afford her, and obviously he also couldn't afford Steadicams either.
Yeah.
Because everything is fucking jerky, and
it is bad. I mean, it really takes you out. I mean, not that you're invested at all, but it does like take you out of it so much so that you're like, what is happening? Yeah.
I felt like even between like both of your movies, like they were so old too that even slow-mo was just really bad.
Oh, the slow-mo was terrible.
Like, and I think both your films kind of had that.
Mine at least has an excuse. This movie
yours
has
is basically
no
Dr.
excuse.
Quinn Medicine Woman was fucking zombies.
Yeah, I mean, no, it doesn't have an excuse, but.
Well, I think the excuse is the low budget. It's not necessarily. I mean, it's partially that they're old.
Yeah,
because they're both. Well, yours is from 2011. This one is more 2007, which actually is more in line with where Meg's film was shot. But I think because both of them are edited probably Adobe Premiere or shitty digital, something cheap.
Yeah.
And then when they do the slow-mo, it's not that they were filmed in slow motion. They just extend the timeline, which makes it in the editor, which makes it look bad.
It just chops down the frame rate like crazy.
Gotcha,
right. And there's non-existent frames to go into those, so it's like interpolated within the computer, and it just looks terrible. It looks awful.
It's really bad looking.
Yeah. But we can get into the.
But fucking Scott Farkus showed up.
Yeah, that is the bright point.
Yeah, he showed the fuck up.
Zach Ward is another commonality you find in Uwe Boll films. He's in this one. He's in Postal. I think he might show up in a couple others, but he plays Billy the Kid. And there's like no explanation as to where
is he like
actually
the
originates
famous
from.
Bully? Like, is he the Billy the Kid?
I think so. I think he's supposed to be the famous Billy the Kid, but he shows up with an Eastern Transylvanian accent.
Yeah.
And like no backstory as
well,
to like
sometimes it's like Old West accent, and sometimes it's like Transylvanian type of accent. It's like if Bela Lugosi lived in Hazard County. Like that's kind of what it sounds like to me a little bit.
I feel like it almost even was like they saw, Billy the Kid versus Frankenstein. We're like, guys, we need a reboot.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He thought to himself, Uwe Boll sat there and thought, you know what? They're onto something here. I think I can do this right. Do this justice.
Well, there's a lot of problem with accents throughout the film.
Oh my God, Jesus!
Nobody seems to hold theirs. The lead character Rayne, who is played by Natasja Malthe, she is a Norwegian model and actress, and she did a handful of films in the 2000s, and that's about it. Yeah, because she's a model. She's hot enough that she doesn't have to do this shit. Yeah,
her complete lack of physicality in this movie was so tough.
Are you referring to how dramatic when she got touched, literally it's like, let me shove you on the shoulder, and she falls into a wall? Is that what you're talking about?
We were talking about how when I'm not to get ahead, but Wesley Snipes looks like he could kick someone's ass. Like when he's in a movie, you're like, he has physicality. He looks like a martial artist. And even the woman who played the what I think they just called her the whore in your movie. She had they did. Yeah. They were just like, that's the whore. Yeah. She was she was very physical and kind of like had a couple really badass scenes, and stuff like that. And you're like, it feels like if you like blew on her, she wouldn't fall down. This woman feels like she's struggling to stand at any one given time. Like the way she's wielding her little blades, it's like someone gave them to her, and it's the first time she ever held them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And again, not to say that those blades are common weapons ever.
No, but like she showed up to set and they were like, these are the things you'll be holding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She said, okay, I guess.
She's like, is someone going to help me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Wesley Snipes, even though he phoned in his performance in, I know I'm talking about Meg's movie, but even though he phoned in his performance completely, you could tell he spent some time fucking around with that whip. You know what I mean? Right. Like he looked natural with it. She looked like she might as well have had like giant like baseball fingers, like a number one kind of thing. She might as well have those on her hands. That's how silly and out of place it looked.
Just unwieldy and unsure of herself. There's a great I'm going to come back to this, but I'm just going to break down the plot for this entire film very quickly.
Yeah.
Billy the Kid is stealing kids from the homestead and the local town of Deliverance. He's holding them hostage until the train arrives, and then he's going to make vampires and send the vampires out on the trains across America.
Right.
Rayne, I guess, is friends with some of the kids that he stole. She shows up, has a problem with it.
I think she just used to babysit them.
Like
who knows?
She is their nanny currently.
Yeah, I don't know what the relation is. They never explain it. But she shows up, finds that they've been stolen, goes to town, gets her ass kicked, comes back, gets more hired guns, goes back to town, fights vampires, wins. That's it.
That's the whole. That's the script.
Movie.
Actually, it's not even just a
That's
plot
the movie.
synopsis. That's the script.
That's the movie. It's not complicated.
Nope.
And like you can have a film because I mean Brian's film isn't complicated either. Mm-mm. It's fucking zombies run from zombies.
Yeah,
it's,
goddamn Stinks falls out of space, turns everybody into a zombie, and then there we go. There's a little bit of a backstory about which we'll get into, but that's pretty much it. It's rough. The backstory's rough.
Yeah. But just to come back to those blades, though, and her unwieldiness, it's early on where she first shows up to the homestead of the people that she's friends with, and she runs into another character who's also, I guess, a neighbor and a friend. And she has her blade drawn on him, like she's going to use it. She's going to defend herself, despite him having a gun on her, which is always a weird choice, but... As she's going back to mount up on her horse and ride into town, there is a very loud blade sheathing sound as she passes behind her horse.
Yes.
Because they can't show her. She has no physicality to put the blade away in the unwieldy way that it's packaged. Yeah. So she obviously drops the blade as she passes behind the horse. I noticed this,
and it's like swing.
It very much reads like she just sheathed it in the horse's asshole.
Yeah, that's a fake horse. That's a prop. That's a what do they call horse? A Trojan horse of sorts. But
a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I will give props to all of our films. All of our films spent the time and money to get a horse. At least one.
Did. They got a
At
horse.
least one.
That was the only criteria for this episode.
You know what, though? I was in a Riverside High School performance of The Music Man my senior year, and we also had a horse. Mm-hmm. So,
well,
of course you did.
I mean, your film also only had like one scene of a horse.
That's true. That's all they can afford.
Yeah.
In you know what? That's not fair to say because the horse belonged to one of the people in the play because where I live, everyone has horses. So, it's not like we went to a Hollywood horse guy. It's just someone's fucking horse. It was actually
at this point,
I'm not fronting, guys. It was actually a donkey. It was a mule or some shit. I don't know. It wasn't a horse.
Shitty donkey.
It was a shitty asshole donkey.
Let's not talk shit on donkeys, but I'm kind of regretting the opportunity to just be recording this episode on a horse, guys. Like, I think that was a missed opportunity for all of us.
Yeah. Wait, why are you assuming I'm not on a horse? You can't see my legs. I might be on a tiny little pony.
You would definitely be on a donkey if anything.
Yeah. A
Horse girl Meg laying it down.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I almost forgot. We should be consulting her about this. She's the fucking resident horse girl. I've seen a damn picture.
I'm not letting that go on any business card anywhere for this podcast.
Yeah.
It is a metric that I'm grading on of like which movie had the most horses. Is that something that's playing into you today, Meg? Are you considering who took the time to get the most horses, who had the most scenes of horses?
After each review, I'm going to give everyone a 1 out of 5 horses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to be my criteria.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Bloodrayne it's so boring and bland. Like you get some fun scenes. I think when they decide to arm up and get more people in their posse to fight the vampires, that first scene you get introduced to a preacher character. Mm-hmm. He's kind of fun. Just that whole sermon he's giving. It goes on pretty long, but it's also just, I don't know.
They try to make him like a badass kind of character, but you don't know where he fits in at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It felt like it was an idea that they had on a piece of paper and just kind of tacked on. It wouldn't be careful. We kind of had like kind of a badass preacher.
Yeah. Well, most of them aren't fleshed out very well, but I think it's like true. The preacher fits in because even though he's a slime ball, which is funny because they have another character who's called Slimebag.
Oh, yeah. Slimebag, I forgot about that.
Even though he's like a shitty person, he still also is technically a preacher. Mm-hmm. So like he can do the blessing of the bullets and the blessing of like the holy.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So it serves a weapon against the vampires, but like I wish they would have did a little more with these characters because all they do is recruit a preacher and then the guy who's Slimebag Francis or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like what does that guy add? Nothing.
Well, and a lot of them look very much the same because everyone's like really greasy. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I definitely got confused on who was who. Like, you know who Scut Farkas is, right? Mm-hmm. Which I'm going to keep calling him Scut. And we mentioned in the last episode, the main guy who plays Billy the Kid is, what's the guy's name again? What's the actor's name again?
Zach Ward, who
played Scut Farkas in A Christmas Story. So the bully, the taller, not the little toady bully. He is the main baddie in this movie. So yeah,
and like he sticks out obviously because 1, he's a ginger, and 2, he's dressed like a dandy. Like he's like a real upbeat
fancy boy. Yeah,
he's a fancy vampire lad.
yeah. And like that's why I was confused. It's like I understand Billy the Kid was like kind of from what I understand, kind of a like a media whore kind of guy. You know what I mean in real life, but. Was he like a fancy boy like that? I don't know. It just, I don't know.
Last podcast covered him. Did you listen to those episodes?
I did, but it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
I don't think he really was at all like fancy per se. Definitely just I think like I don't know, almost like out for the challenge, like doing things just because he could. In ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other way that this movie misses is like, so you have Billy the Kid as an actual character. Like, why not like toss it up a little bit and like have like a Calamity Jane or an Annie Oakley join the posse?
Yeah.
As like, because then you understand those characters are known for their like gun work. Like, or just their overall violence. They're known
throw a damn Doc Holliday or some shit in there. You know what I mean?
Well, they do make mention at the end of the film when she's after she wins the day, she's leaving and she says she's going to go help Wyatt Earp with the Clanton gang. The Clanton gang is also vampires. So it's like they have an awareness, but like why not make the posse more interesting? The posse was just more slimy, greasy dudes.
Yeah.
I was so grossed out by the scene when it was the last guy she was picking up, but she also just ended up banging him. And I was just like, I don't think there's any scenario where it's like,
did she bang him?
Yeah. Did you not catch
is
literally
this the
it's
guy
like
who saved her? Are you talking about when she went like Michael Myers in part 5 and she like floated down the creek and like ended up meeting up with some rando and he nursed her back to health?
It was when she was like picking up everyone. It was like right before she then went back to town with everyone.
Yeah, you're talking about slime bag Francis. I don't think she. No, I don't think she banged him. I think
this is what I think she did. Is because like he said what he said, like, oh, we gonna like bang or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And then she kind of was like, meh, maybe. And then you cut to the other guys, and all you hear is moaning.
Well, yeah, but the moaning was from the preacher and the waitress. Because she clearly says, "Oh, preacher," and he's like, "Oh yeah, hail Jesus," like as he's fucking her.
Okay, then okay, that makes more sense.
So
then,
I remember that, but yeah.
So it's not. I don't think it's clear that Rayne banged Slimebag Francis. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But you definitely hear the preacher and the waitress getting it on.
It's Slimebag Francis is like a moped, you know. It's fun to bang until your friends see, you know? So she might have been like, listen, let's keep it on the DL, bro. Right. I'm not trying to get around that I'm banging Slimebag Francis.
Exactly. She doesn't want her friends knowing.
Every time you guys say his name, though, I feel like there's a really good Halloween costume opportunity to do like a Slimebag Daryl instead of Dimebag Daryl. But like,
I was going to say, that's what it feels like. It's a wish.com Dimebag Daryl, Slimebag Francis. It's like when when you go into Spirit Halloween and they have the like Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family, and it says like midweek cutie.
Slimebag guitarist.
Yeah.
God.
Or like what was the evil juice demon? It's like a fake Beetlejuice.
Yeah. That also sounds like a Garbage Pail Kid too, though. Slimebag Daryl.
It does. It does. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, aside from those scenes where she's picking up guys to join the posse, I think both of those are kind of fun. The way she proposes to Slimebag Daryl but like it's never clear as to like what their real skills are. It's not clear what the other guy's skill is, other than one time he uses a Gatling gun, which is kind of cool. But the big denouement scene of where Rayne walks into the booby trap and like essentially 7 kids are hung at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that was the most oovable moment. Because he's like, I'm going to endanger kids visibly on camera.
Yeah. His whole thing is like, and this is all of his movies, but to dramatically varying degrees, he has extremely brutal and extremely dark moments that he did not earn and that feel completely tonally inconsistent with the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So you'll just be like, oh, this is like a silly schlock fest, and there's a fucking boom mic in, and then seconds later it's like, yeah, I'm gonna like throw a baby in a wood chipper. You know what I mean? It's just like so over the top all of a sudden.
Because then it gets even darker. Because it's this goofy booby trap fucking Rube Goldberg machine where she walks through a door and a weight falls and it hangs 7 kids, but she's holding on to the weight to keep them from fully hanging.
Yeah.
But that incapacitates her.
Right.
So while that's happening, Billy the Kid goes over and drains another kid.
Yeah.
And like basically completely traumatizes, not that they've already seen this happen, but like completely traumatizes a girl who I think she just might have really been traumatized from this thing on set.
I know, these poor kids, like, and then he even like rubs your nose in it as a viewer, like later on when they do save the one sister, and the mom's like, and she's like, Sarah didn't make it, like says it to the mom, like after the bad guy is dead, like you're supposed to be rejoicing,
right?
And he just still like twists the knife the other direction. Like that scene where Scut Farkus like takes the one like little girl on his lap and like drains her blood in front of all the other kids is so over the top dark.
Yeah. It's so dark and unpleasant.
And
so unpleasant, so just like despicable. And again, Scut Farkus is going for the fucking gusto. I mean, this was his fucking Oscar moment. Like he's leaning into the performance so hard, and it just makes everything even more uncomfortable. Like because the rest of the movie, like he's going way harder than everyone else in the movie.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the intensity of his performance, which is like good on him. Give the effort, you know what I mean? Like everyone else is fucking phoning. The sheriff is hilarious, by the way. the sheriff. His voice, he talks like fucking Christian Bale Batman, but he's a sheriff, and his accent comes and goes in the most bizarre way.
Instead of putting on a Batman voice, he's putting on a Sam Elliott voice.
He really is. He really is. That's a great way of putting it. He just like I laughed out loud a couple times when he had lines. Like he was unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, he's going really hard, and like you want to applaud him for the like giving his all in this absolute piece of shit movie, but it's just so at odds with the whole everyone else's performance.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it just, like, again, he has those really dark moments. He doesn't earn them. And then the rest of the film isn't as fun or broken or stupid or funny. Mm-hmm. With the exception of the camera work and some of the accents.
And some of the accents. So
it just falls short as a Uwe Boll film.
It really does. Yeah, you're right. It was disappointing. I was looking forward to this one because I thought it was going to be really stupid and over the top. But there are a couple moments. Like I said, the sheriff, I got a couple laughs out of. Mm-hmm. The reporter's face in a couple of instances cracked me up. Yeah. Like when they went to the kind of the bystanders, if you will, that are like standing over by the saloon, and something brutal happens and they cut over to it, and the reporter, he was the guy from the Chicago or whatever that was there to write a story. He has a way of making his face look like the shocked face of Kermit the Frog, where all the and I understand I'm doing this on camera, so people listening at home don't know, but you basically like imagine a sock puppet talking, and then they just go like this. And pull your fingers in to make them look shocked.
Because the lips pull in and the mouth is still open a bit. Yeah. He's basic. I like his character. He's basically playing Jeffrey Jones's character in Deadwood. Yeah, because he's.
Oh, okay, Jeffrey Jones. Yeah.
He's a coward. He's a coward reporter, but like he's in the thick of it. Yeah. And then you have the mayor, who is like Wish.com's Kevin Kline.
Yes, you're right. He was even the outfit, he had like a petticoat, like he was trying to beat Kevin Kline for sure.
Yeah, he was trying to be funny. Wild Wild West Kevin Kline. It was weird. But,
yeah, for sure.
The movie, all of our movies have like a lot of Old West tropes of like racism and misogyny. Mm-hmm. I would say mine has the best racism though, in that there's just a character called Irish Mick.
Didn't even notice that.
This is at the poker table scene.
Yeah,
where Rayne first arrives.
Shit. Yes.
Rayne first arrives to town, and she runs into one character who's like, I think he's like Logan Flintlock or whatever.
Yeah,
and like that character
old
starts
black teeth.
Yeah, old black teeth. That character starts sexually harassing her.
Yeah,
and then like is reminded that they know each other.
Yeah,
like it was so confusing. You don't know that that's the person who's always hunting you. You've run into each other before. You don't recognize.
There's a lot of people that look like that in the Old West.
Right.
Yeah, probably not.
There's a lot of mid-drift red-haired supermodels who like have all their teeth.
Yeah, wielding crazy weapons.
Right. Yeah. Wielding crazy, look like fucking Mortal Kombat weapons. Yeah. And also there's 12 people in town.
Yeah. And you don't recognize her as somebody you've run into. Yeah, so fucking stupid. But then at the poker table, there's Irish Mick, who has a very Irish accent, and then like a shitty wool jumper and bowler hat, and it's killed, and it's hilarious.
Is that the scene where we get the line of the movie, which is Jesus titty fuck Christ?
No, that is much later, and that's
that much later? Okay.
Yeah, that's at the end of the film when Slimebag and the preacher are surprised by the vampires and their Gatling gun.
Yeah. Mm. Oh, yeah. The hand crank Gatling gun there. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're taken by surprise. They're lured into a vampire trap.
Very Western jargon for sure.
And then there's one of my other favorite lines is when he tells the guy to suck lead and then just shoots him in the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's not.
That's not what that means.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the face.
Yeah, come on.
Speaking of that, what you're talking about too, it's like towards the end when all the fighting's going on and there were like everyone in the saloon that were like not fighting. And the one that was a mother, she kept on wanting to go outside and finally was like, fuck it, I'm going to actually go take care of this after everyone else could not. I was just like, it felt like it was a pointless series of scenes.
Yeah.
It was definitely filler because, again, you had this long, impassioned speech. It's like broken up into three scenes moving at the same time. You have Kevin Kline giving this long, impassioned speech to all the townsfolk to let's go fight the vampires because there are people here helping us fight the vampires. And if we don't, America will be taken over by vampires. Then you have the cowboy shooting. Then you have Rayne holding this weight for an impossibly long time while Billy monologues and eats kids.
Yeah.
And it's just like nothing happens in that bar scene with the townsfolk for so long. Then newspaper and Kevin Kline go out. Kevin Kline gets shot and newspaper runs back in.
Right.
Like just nothing fucking happens. It's just filler.
So little happens in this movie. That's the thing that makes it so boring at times, or at most of the time. Is just nothing happens.
Yeah. It is a lot of filler. It's a lot of riding around to different locations and just action not happening or action being completely stalled
or happening off screen, like the beginning part of the movie, where the vampires like come into the first like homestead, and you don't see them kill anybody.
Right. Yeah.
You just see the corpses the next day, and
Yeah, you hear people screaming off screen and you hear whooshes off screen.
There's so many whooshes. That's what I'm saying. It's just like the whole movie is full of fucking whooshes. The whole movie's a fucking big whoosh.
Which, although going back to that very first scene, it is funny because you have the father and the mother and then the two kids who I guess Rayne knows, however. And then you hear like a horse outside as it's being attacked.
Right.
And the father says, "Goddamn bear's back again."
I gotta go get my goddamn bear gun.
Yeah.
He goes out after.
Some bitchin' bear.
Here you go.
Which, like, you're not afraid to fight a bear in the dark, so.
Yeah. Did you guys, the only other thing that I had written down for this was the final line as they're walking away. Did you happen to write it down? I tried to.
Oh, I know what it is.
Okay.
I remember it. The final line. So everything's cleaned up, and for whatever reason, they decide the newspaper guy is now the new sheriff, despite
It's
I
he
forgot
looks
about
like
that.
Yeah. Despite not killing any vampires, despite not firing a single shot, I don't think, at all in that whole confrontation. It's just he's de facto because he had a little bit more courage than the rest of the townspeople, and everybody else is dead or children.
Yeah.
So, the newspaper guy's the sheriff, and Rayne's friend, who's also the friends of the first family, Roy, they're walking through town, and Roy says, newspaper, life is like a penis. When it's hard, it fucks you, and when it's soft, you can't beat it. God, that sucks.
I hate everything about that.
It was genuinely. I couldn't figure out what he was saying, and I did not. I wasn't gonna rewind.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is what I wrote: life is like a penis. It's all right if you get screwed, but if you're soft, you can't beat it. That's what I wrote.
Close enough.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote. And then I just wrote question mark, and then I put the emoji of the guy doing that. I don't know.
I guess that makes sense in the Old West. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whose
about
penis
that?
is this again?
Yeah.
It's listen, it wasn't fun. It was a not fun watch.
No.
Steve Boll has a way to just ruin your day.
For horse content, we'll give it a pretty hearty 3 out of 5 horses.
Fair. That's respectful though. Yeah. And
Okay.
I think that's fair. because my movie definitely has
tough
my,
but fair.
Yeah, my movie definitely has more horses than Brian's, so like I should get at least a 3. So
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have the least horses. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna front, guys. I got the least horse action.
it's okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's funny.
But I might have the hottest horse action. It's quality over quantity, guys. All right. Any final thoughts on Bloodrayne 2 Electric Boogaloo?
I have no final thoughts. I merely will say that, if we're voting worst, boring can be worst.
It was painful.
That's a t-shirt. Boring can be worst.
Yes.
There are worse things than death. Boring is worse than death. It was fucking terrible. I really thought it was going to be fun to watch. It was not fun to watch. I personally would urge anybody who's thinking about watching it, do not watch it.
Here's the thing. If we recontextualize this to you having Ravenous and Meg having Bone Tomahawk, then this is the right play for me.
Yeah.
This would have been the right thing of just a terrible, boring. You have to sit through this.
Double middle fingers in the eye sockets. Yeah.
Right. But both of your movies are so fucking fucked in different ways.
Yeah.
But they're not as boring. They're not as boring.
Yeah. If there was one and you were like, okay, you have to watch 2 out of the 3 of these movies again, which one are you going to opt to not watch? It would be this one.
Yeah.
And here's another metric. I know I'm giving up a lot of points on myself, and I'm probably not going to win this episode, but another metric is boobs. And mine doesn't have any boobs.
It does not.
True.
It does not.
Yeah.
I think Brian has
mine's gratuitous.
Top
it's
boob
gratuitous.
action, and then mine,
Mine's gratuitous. I think every woman who was on screen in my movie for more than 6 seconds, you did see her bare boobs at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's in the contract.
Yeah.
I was almost going to even add another factor, though, because I hear what you're saying about yours being boring, which it really, really was. But I feel like what I'll get into for Gallowwalkers is that mine was so utterly frustrating with like the flow of it that I think...
What flow?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boring can be worse, but confusing can also be worse.
It felt like a clip show at times.
Yeah, it like was painful because it was the same thing that like half hour in you like start piecing together. I'm like, I don't know why someone's doing whatever. So I started Googling stuff and I'm like, what is this movie about? What is actually going on here? And I feel like the story could be interesting to a certain extent if it was shot better or like edited better. So is it my turn? Do you want to just like jump in?
Let's just jump into it.
Let's fucking go. So
just wipe your face. Let's fucking go. Just
sweating.
We did this to ourselves. No one made us do this.
That's true. So Gallowwalkers came out in 2012, and I had to make a point because as far as quality of the video, this one definitely I think was the best, and so it was like tolerable to watch and it was aesthetically pleasing to look at, but at its $17 million budget.
Yeah.
So it's
your film ended the career of an award-winning Mexican cinematographer. Yeah. And he had like a pretty bulky career, and it shows on film because yours legitimately has a lot of beautiful shots in it.
Yep.
Fuck is it confusing.
This movie ruined a lot of lives, I venture to say.
Yeah.
Really set people back in a lot of ways.
In looking a little bit more about this, though, so this film was like finished recording or like being produced in 2010, but wasn't released until 2012. And I kept seeing like it was because of Wesley Snipe and his tax problems. And I had no idea that this happened.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it a little bit last week. He went to jail. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
a few years.
He was like banked $40 million and didn't pay any taxes on it.
Yeah.
Fucking eat the rich. Let's go.
Yeah, it was also filmed in 2006.
Shit.
Because that's when he was having the tax problem. He was actually on set for this film and had to go fly from Africa because this film is
Right.
filmed in Africa. I think it's kind of in the same desert that Mad Max 4 is filmed in. So he had to leave that, fly back to America, get bailed out so he could fly back and finish the movie.
Yeah.
And then even still, the movie wasn't finished till 2010-ish and then wasn't released till 2012, 2013. This movie came out in like 7 different years.
Well, it went on I read it 2012. It finally got seen at like some convention. It was screened.
Like a festival.
And then, and then it finally got a DVD release of some sort in 2013. But it was almost 8 years after it was shot.
I feel like this movie, it was one of those things that they're like, we just need to get this out.
We're just going to recoup a little bit of money, maybe.
I'm curious if I'm sure they made some money on it, but if not anything
else.
Oh,
I guarantee they don't. Yeah, they lost their ass. They had to.
Yeah.
I was going to, because you mentioned where it was filmed and I saw that too, but I think that was like one thing that in certain scenes, I felt like didn't really have that Old West vibe or like, what you think of when you think of the desert. Like when you see that it was filmed in Africa, you're like, okay, that's what it looks like,
Right.
So
it doesn't look like the southwestern United States or Mexico.
Right. Yeah. So why we talked about it earlier that like I don't think in my film that I could even walk through scene by scene or even like talk about it because it jumps around a lot, and I was trying to read a little bit about it and I feel like it was fairly purposeful, and maybe Steve, you might be able to speak a little bit more on that if you know anything. Like I saw something being read about it being like kind of like similar. I'm trying to I guess I'll just read this thing what I'm meaning. So legend has it that Nostradamus prophesied his infamous quatrains, which again, I should not be reading all these big words right now. It's like he threw them into the air and published them in order in which they landed instead of the order in which they were written. And like that's kind of what they were basically describing how this was filmed.
I could see that. I think it was less a fun thought exercise and more a boy, we need to put this into at least a semi-intelligent, semi-followable narrative so that we can release a movie and get just a little tiny bit of our money back because our star can only be here for 5 minutes and then he's got to go to jail.
I am so interested in the production of this film because like we were already saying, it's the best looking film. It looks it looks like a legitimate film.
Right.
And for the first 10-15 minutes you're really invested because it has almost a Tarantino-esque
that's what I'm saying. This is more a samurai movie than a Western. Like it feels like a samurai movie, which
that's interesting.
A lot of the old Western, like classic Westerns, were heavily influenced by Japanese samurai
by Kurosawa.
But this was this felt like a very intentional like Western vampire samurai type of thing. But it also was like, I actually looked, because I assumed when I was watching it that Gallowwalkers was like a comic book or a graphic novel.
That's what I thought too.
It was shot like that, and the dialogue was like that, and it was like really overly stylized, in a lot of different ways with the, the weird cult, and it just felt cartoony. Yeah, but in kind of a cool way. Yeah. So I figured it was based on that, something like that, and then I was like, oh, I don't see anything about that.
Yeah, and that's what again leads me back to like, why did this movie happen? Because this director writer Andrew Goff, who he definitely picked that stage name.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I'm Andrew Goff.
Guys, just call me Megan Goth from now on.
Megan Goth. But yeah, he seems to have just somehow swindled some people out of like $17 million to create this film that he wanted to make. And like, if you go back to like his first film was from 1999 and he somehow got David Bowie in it.
Yeah, I didn't look it up, but I was like, he's got to be someone's kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
there's some nepotism happening.
Yeah, you change your last name to Goth because you're trying to hide
because
whatever
his
nepotism.
real last because it's actually Jared Weinstein.
Or
is his actual fucking name.
Or maybe Andrew Coppola. He's another Coppola, and he just
yeah, something like
Oh
that.
God.
Uncle Francis is financing this.
Actually,
garbage.
you know what? Now I've changed my tone. Remake this, put Nick Cage in it, and I'll fucking watch it. Actually,
don't
never
think
mind.
you're
They
wrong.
already
I don't
did.
think-
It's Ghost. It's Ghost.
Yeah, it's Prisoners of
Prisoner in
Ghostland.
Ghostland. Yeah, you're right. It is Prisoners of Ghostland. But that is even more on the nose Western Samurai.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't just drew the comparison just now. I can't believe I didn't think about how this is basically a shitty version of Prisoner in Ghostland that takes itself too seriously.
Yeah. I loved this quote about it was a great quote about this before I jump into just like talking about it a little bit more. Someone wrote, if you've seen the trailer for Gallowwalkers, then not only have you seen pretty much all the best parts, you've actually seen a more lucid version of the movie than in film itself. And I was
can
like,
believe that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly. So in this movie, we're pretty much just following, I feel like, 2 plot points almost, if we're breaking it down. So Wesley Snipes' character, Amon, he's a cursed gunman. We come to find out that his mother gave up her life to save him, and in doing so, a curse was laid on him. So anyone that he kills basically becomes this undead. And some people when after his mother was now gone, there was this family this woman that took him in, had a daughter, and Amon fell in love with the daughter, and she ended up getting raped and subsequently had a kid of this group of men. I don't know if they were kind of like a clan or cult type thing, like a group of
outlaw
outlaws.
gangs type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Amon went to get revenge on them the first time, killed all of them, but part of his curse is that obviously like when he kills them, they become undead now. I don't think it's super clear like exactly the A to B on that, but that's just what happens. So
It's a damn curse.
It's a fucking curse.
It's a goddamn curse.
I feel like that's the overall like that answers everything.
That should be the tagline of the movie, Gallowwalkers. It's a goddamn curse.
It's a goddamn curse.
Like all of that, what you're mentioning is like you don't learn it until an hour into an hour and a half film.
That's what I'm saying is like you are summarizing it very very clearly, but the movie doesn't do that.
It does not. It
No.
does not.
You
I am
have to
definitely
parse a lot of those things together, and yes, you eventually do get to it. But yeah, like you said,
I'm
you
doing
spend
this movie a
2/3
favor.
of the movie
Yeah.
not knowing Wesley Snipes' motivation at all.
Right. And I
Yeah.
feel like every time he comes on screen, he has some sort of eloquent speech to say that means nothing. And you're like even more confused after it. Because it's almost like the story is being told in reverse in ways.
In some ways, yeah.
You don't know if that was symptomatic of the production problems or if it was the director trying to be cute. I don't know which.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think when you guys mentioned like the comic book, I could kind of see it in relation to like when you watch even like a comic book movie or you're watching like a comic book show, it kind of has that feeling where you're just jumping back and forth and you really don't. I mean, it doesn't do a good job telling the story, but it has that same feeling.
Yeah. And that's also why I said it was Tarantino-esque, because like if you think back to Kill Bill Part 1, like that movie starts very in the middle of everything, because it starts with Vernita Green and Beatrice having that fight in a suburban house, which is how I felt like the way this film started, out in the middle with this meeting between these priests on a handcart and this random guy like
with his lips fucking sewed together.
Yeah.
Actually, it starts with a voiceover, which is always a good sign. But the first sexual scene,
which interestingly is not Wesley Snipes.
Really?
Anytime it's a voiceover, it's not Wesley Snipes. It's somebody doing a Wesley Snipes voice.
That's
no
interesting.
Shit. Well, fooled me. So
I want to know.
Good on them.
It fooled me the first time, but then there is another voiceover. I'm like, that doesn't quite sound like him.
Really?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess I just
You did a pretty good
took
job,
it
though.
for granted.
So the other plot point that we have going on at the same time, so the people that had raped Amon's lover, forgetting her name off the top of my head, and who got killed by Amon, basically now they are the undead, and they all kind of are still together as this like outlaw group and go around and they're collecting people to skin them, because basically this undead, and like we were talking about, that it's not really a zombie, it's not really a vampire, kind of falls into this weird realm where basically they have to, like, they're skinless creatures.
Mhm.
And they basically harvest skin to put on, and they have to keep doing that because over time the skin just like gets dried up and stuff. And I don't know if you saw the one scene, which I kind of liked. It was like this Star Wars-esque character where the
with the lizard.
basically had a lizard tail on the back of his head, and he's like
Two
toting
lizard
how
tails.
awesome, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
like toting how awesome this skin was for this weather and shit like that.
And that was the equivalent of the finger shoot scene in Ghosts of Mars, where it just was this weird, out of nowhere, extended joke scene. I was like, what the flying fuck is happening
Yeah.
in
So
that
with,
scene?
oh, you were gonna say something, Steve?
No, I was just gonna say there's so many bizarre things that fit really well into like maybe an 80s Roger Corman film or something.
Yeah.
Like there's so many bizarre visuals with like this two-tailed lizard head guy, like the bucket-headed henchman.
Dude,
like,
he looked like fucking... He reminded me so much of... You ever see the Pete and Pete Halloween episode? It's called Halloweenies. And there's the pumpkin eaters, the group that wears the pumpkins on their head and terrorizes people on Halloween. Every time I saw him, I couldn't stop thinking about the fucking pumpkin eaters. It was so strange. But it was like it was out of Mandy or something like that, too.
Yeah, that actually is a really good comparison. So the other point to share about their story is that the woman, or Amon's lover, who they raped, actually got pregnant by one of the leader of this outlaw group, and the kid ended up dying. But this leader character, I think his name's Kanza or something like that, kept the body, because through this curse that Amon had, there's like this space between heaven and hell, that he feels like if he brings his kid to that place, that he'll be able to bring him back to life. So that's like his motivation throughout the entire movie, is like getting all the pieces that he needs to get to that place.
Well, he was part of the... And you learn it eventually, and it's kind of inconsequential. But yeah, they bring the corpse around. He's got him like on a cross kind of thing. And he's all like desiccated and shit. But you learn at the end that he thought the whole time that Wesley Snipes killed all of them, including his son. But his son actually hung himself in the jail cell. Yeah. And that's why he didn't come back, because he was... I guess repentant in some way for what he did.
I mean, he just wasn't killed by Wesley Snipes. That's all.
Well, and I think also they were forcing him to rape her. Remember? They were like, we're gonna make a man out of you, and he was like crying, and like he didn't.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not a clear thing, but it's like I think the son had already hung himself before Wesley Snipes even shows up to start executing everybody that's in that jail cell.
Right.
Because he fucking kills everybody in that jail.
Oh yeah,
like,
even that woman that was in there too. Yeah.
And why is he all painted up?
I actually
fucking
don't know.
knows.
Yeah.
Because he thought it was cool to do.
Yeah. Why has he got all the spiralies all over him? I don't know.
Yeah, another completely unclear
He
thing.
likes a good costume, guys.
Well, because I think what I took it as is it was part of like some like revenge ritual kind of thing, because his mom was obviously like essentially like a witch of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah, again, that's another thing that's completely unclear, and it's also inconsequential in a way, is that so his mother makes a deal with, I guess, the devil to bring him back, and now he's cursed. But she was also a part of this thing, this coven.
Sisters of something or other.
Yeah, the Sisters of San Diablo.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the Sisters of San Diablo, which doesn't make fucking sense because that means Saint Devil. There's no Saint Devil.
The Sisters of Saint Devil.
Yeah, fucking stupid.
Maybe in their world they are. It's a coven. Maybe they worship Satan already, and
maybe.
And
sounds like a knockoff, like generic hot sauce that Aldi sells.
Yes, the Sisters of San Diablo.
Yeah,
it's made with habaneros.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start a girl gang called that.
It's like The Simpsons where they were like Satan's helpers or whatever. What was the name of their? What was their name of their? Oh my god, it's gonna drive me freaking nuts.
Yeah, damn it.
Because he was like, let's be the, because Ned Flanders didn't want to do it because they were coming up with all these satanic names. So they were like, he was like, let's be the God Punchers and like all this stuff. Like, Hell Satans. Hell Satans.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I saw a dude on the highway one time was riding a motorcycle, and he had a Hell Satans, like it was a good joke jacket. Yeah. I was fucking dying.
But yeah, this whole like thing of like they're chasing down this coven because they have the ability. The bad guy assumes they have the ability to resurrect, but like none of that is well explained at all. No. There's like so much backstory that you're missing. This feels like somebody chopped up a 10 episode limited series into an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's like cliffhangers that are never explained. And you know what, though, I will say there were some cool characters, and the fucking special effects were kind of sick. Yeah. Like the guy with the whole when he looked like fucking Uncle Frank, like late stage Frank from Hellraiser, early in the movie, like that was fucking cool as hell.
All the heads being ripped off. Yeah, no, I'll definitely give
it that. And like the hooker, or what do they call him? The whore. The whore.
Yeah, I think her name was Angel.
Oh, did she?
Angel.
Yeah.
Angel. I thought Angel was the Wesley Snipes' girlfriend.
No.
Okay.
No.
Must be wrong.
Angel was I'm gonna double just check, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Angel was the one. Yeah, because it was Tanit Phoenix as Angel, and then let me see.
She was steampunk David Bowie, steampunk handblade David Bowie.
Yeah, because and like that's one of my early notes is they have this. It doesn't make any sense, the scene, but like there's a bunch of people who are, I guess, under arrest. And one of them is a hooker, and we're focusing on her a lot.
But she doesn't do anything. I feel like if I remember, maybe she had like, that's what I was saying. Like, I feel like that outlaw group was trying to pick up pieces that he thought he needed, like to have like a sacrifice or something like that, for whatever he needed in this ritual to bring back his son. I think that's kind of like what I was picking up on. And Amon, Wesley Snipes' lover, is Sueño.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. But we focus a lot on her. Yeah, we focus a lot on her, and then I have like notes of just like she doesn't know she's Harley Quinn or Antebellum.
Yeah,
she doesn't know what accent she's doing.
No, it was back and forth for sure.
But then we leave that character because Wesley Snipes shoots all the sheriffs and frees this other guy, Fabulous.
Yeah, which is a terrible name. Yeah,
terrible name. And like, why him? Why?
They never explain it.
Well, no. The only thing they say about it is that when he goes back to the ranch, he's like, he's like, he was the first person I could find. That's all he said about why him.
Really?
Maybe he just saw him as dispensable.
He proves himself. Like, obviously, he didn't know he was some chosen person because he made him prove himself, right? By like sending him down in the fucking mine shaft and to kill his way out and all this shit. But
yeah,
I did like when at the end, spoiler alert, obviously a little late to the game for that, but whenever they at the end when he shoots him because he's been gut shot and he knows he's gonna die, and Wesley Snipes shoots him, he's like, I felt, and there's a voiceover. It's like, I felt for the kid. I really did. And that's the voiceover of Wesley Snipes. And actively on screen, Wesley Snipes is going, just laughing at him.
Just laughing his balls off.
I felt for the kid. I really did. Just laughing in his fucking face.
Another line that was like similar to Steve's film, like with like these really awkward lines, is like, I don't know if you caught Kansas character say, like, you always remember your first time, and he was talking about the first time he was killed by Amon and stuff like that.
You don't forget the first man who kills you or something like that. I really was hoping, speaking of shitty lines, I really, really, really wanted, how when they all when he sends them to kill Wesley Snipes' character, and one of them is dressed like a goat. He's got like a goat corpse on top of him, and when he goes out there tries to kill him, I desperately wanted him to have a line when he popped up and something like pop up and be like, hide and goat seek. Something like, there's so many goat puns that he could have done when he pulled up, and he completely missed opportunity.
What's the matter? Did I get your goat?
Yeah, something like there's fucking 1,000 of them. Yeah. Because he's fucking wearing a goat. I mean, come on.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
There is another sick burn that I may start incorporating.
Yeah,
is when they're looking to hang all of the criminals in this super religious town.
Yeah,
and the preacher comes down on Angel and says, "You womb of vipers."
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that dude had a cool monologue. I'm not gonna lie, like he had a whole fucking thing going there, and he puts his foot up on. That's what I'm saying. That character is in. Isn't it Bill Moseley plays that same fucking character in Prisoner in Ghostland?
Yeah. It's exactly what he feels
character. Like. Yeah, he's even getting his shoes shined and shit. Like, it's the same fucking thing. But I'll be honest with you, like, I don't know. I know we're spiraling towards the end, and I know, Meg, you're not done, but like, I really had fun with this movie. I'd seen it before, and I almost picked it. Yeah. Remember when you said, I almost picked it, and then I decided, and then I was like, that movie's fucking terrible. There's be something goofier that I can pick. And then I watched it, and I was like, no, dude, this movie kind of fucking rules. I don't know why I really liked it. It's terrible, but
it is pretty bad. I feel like I just wish it was edited better, and I probably would have felt better about it. But it was just very frustrating. I think the concepts and stuff going on in it are interesting, but at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, no, this can still stay on the shitty Western horror list for me.
Yeah. I am glad, Meg, that you didn't get high and watch this film, because I feel like you may have enjoyed it. This is definitely a film.
That's like, what it was, Ryan. You were high, weren't you?
Yeah, I was stoned as fuck. Yeah. I was all blazed up, and then I saw it, and I was just like, this is fucking fun. Yeah. I just really enjoyed my time with this movie.
There's a lot of competent visuals, both cinematography and effects. Like it's nice to look at, but if you try to follow the story, you're gonna fucking blow your brains out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Wesley Snipes actually went all in on his character too. You know, I felt like he just
aesthetically, but he phoned in the performance.
Yeah, he doesn't throw a single karate kick, and I don't care for that.
The only time he did any goddamn thing was in the fight scene with fucking Pumpkinhead in the thing, and he did a little bit there, but he went all. I mean, he's got a bold look.
Yeah, and I feel like even just like he took this part very seriously is like what I meant by that. But I get what you're saying when you say
that's Wesley Snipes, and that's why I love him, because he adds. Because he's fucking cool looking. He's got a deep voice. He looks like he's going to whip ass. Like that's Wesley Snipes' whole career. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a fucking good actor. I mean, it's not, he's like Keanu Reeves in the way. Like, I love his performances, and he can act, but he's not known for being a good actor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm sure Keanu Reeves is a tremendous actor. Tremendous. You get what I'm saying? Like, compared to. I mean, he's a fucking professional actor. You know what I mean? Like, he knows what he's doing. I'm not saying he's fucking Meryl Streep, but like, he's pretty good.
Right.
But he plays a very specific type of character all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like Wesley Snipes is kind of that same thing.
Wesley, I think Wesley Snipes has a little bit more range, because he has a lot more comedy in his back pocket too. Because you think Coming to America, White Men Can't Jump, To Wong Fu.
White Man Can't Jump, but he's like the straight man most of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got jokes and shit. I get it. Yeah.
And then he's also very funny in Blade 2. Watch it. He's hilarious.
But he plays that like robotic type of character. You know what I mean?
He's not very robotic. Like, he's winking at the camera and everything in Blade 2. Blade 1, he's robotic. Blade
I just
2,
watched
Blade 1.
Blade 1 is very dry. I haven't seen Blade 2 in fucking probably 10 years. So I do need to
That's the
probably
best
revisit
one.
that.
We'll watch it. You got to trust me on this the way you trust me on Punisher Warzone.
Listen, you haven't done me dirty. So
Yeah. I don't think there's much else that I really have to report here on this besides that, I don't know. It was fine, but it was boring. Yeah, not really boring, but just like frustrating for me. So I was like, even just trying to talk about it, I'm like, yep, nope, I'm good. Like,
yeah, it was just the movie was sabotaged, obviously, by Wesley Snipes' problems. This movie got sniped. It sounds like
I'm still not willing to blame Wesley Snipes on this.
No, I think
I want to blame the fact that it's just like a shitty director who didn't know what he was doing.
It's probably that too, but just I really felt like I feel like they had Wesley Snipes for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right,
and they were like jam everything into there because a lot of other spots, like there are so many stunt double shots of him that like I just felt like they had to piece together a movie with very little footage of him.
Yeah, it is very possible that but I mean, he got let out on bail, but I guess if they had to shut down production, maybe they just lost too many days. I don't know. That's why I'm just super interested in this production because it's so bizarre and like.
Well, I mean, why else would they have somebody else doing his voice? You know what I mean for a voiceover.
Well,
that's a good point.
See, I think the voiceover came as a way to help explain. And I think that was something that was like added
they edited
maybe
it and they're like, hey, no, this definitely doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. We better add something.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It was because they couldn't they were literally missing scenes that they never got a chance to shoot because they didn't have him.
Yeah.
Like that's how I took it, and I might be giving him too much.
No, I
too
think
much leeway.
I hear what you're saying too, but I think literally if they would have just rearranged this and edited it a little better, I think there could have been a better film involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst written and worst edited film that we have tonight.
Yeah. It was
horse rating, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strong horse situation.
Horse situation, yeah.
I mean, that opening scene has like 5 horses in it.
Yeah,
just
they even
about.
make a point to talk about the horses. The horses come into the plot.
Right.
How many horses are there compared to men? Like horses play a
they
pivotal role.
They weren't really giving
in
horse facts, though, guys. So that's why
there was hardly any horse facts, and that's why I can't be 5.
And then you do have those 6
and
shots.
there were no horse fights. There were no horse fights.
No horse fights. But you do have that real 6 shot of the horsemen coming down off the mountain, like when they're coming and riding through the dust cloud and all that shit.
Yeah.
Those are pretty sick shots. So good horse rating.
Stunts. Yeah. 4 is a strong horse rating. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be biased here, guys.
No. We're all going to agree with you. Yeah. We're all on board with that horse rating. That's fair.
Good horse stuff.
Cool.
Tough,
Sweet.
but
Moving
fair.
on. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into 2010s. The Dead and the Damned. Guys, some of you might know this by its other name, which is Cowboys and Zombies. This is very much a fucking, late 2000s, early 2010s, straight to VOD motherfucker here.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit about the director. The guy's name's Rene Perez. Okay, he has a band called Darkness Machine. That just tells you a lot right now. That tells you a lot about him. That's his personality.
I need to listen to this band.
He, here's what he does. He directs primarily just rip-off movies. So if Uwe Boll, is that?
It doesn't matter. Uwe, who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, he does the fucking cheap, shitty, schlocky video game stuff. This guy just straight up rips shit off. In the most egregious way. He has a movie called Death Kiss.
I'm so excited.
Starring a man named Robert Bronzi, who could not be described as anything but Wish.com Charles Bronson. Yeah. I mean, he is like almost a Charles Bronson impersonator.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He is, and you can go on his profile and read that he is a Hungarian-born actor
Yeah.
And he's just a Hungarian Charles Bronson.
He is 100% taken on the Charles Bronson persona. He squints. He's got the facial hair. He is fully trying to bite Charles Bronson's shtick.
Did you guys see that also Daniel Baldwin was in that film too? Or that movie?
I missed that. No. He's in
the Death Kid. Yeah.
Kiss.
Sorry, I just was like looking it up real fast, and I felt like it was really hilarious because I was like, when we talk about wish list characters, he is a wish list.
Alec.
Alec, yeah.
Yeah. So here's what it is, and this is 100% it because I remember this from back in the day, and people still do this with like movies on Tubi and shit where they're like get dumped a bunch of unknown content. Here's what he did back in the day when you had VOD through your cable provider. You would go in and search a famous movie, and it would come up or it wouldn't come up, but either in its place or alongside it would come up the wish.com version of that movie. So if you type in Death Wish and it fucking Armstrong Cable or whoever you have doesn't have Death Wish on VOD, you'll see Death Kiss. And you might go, okay, I'll try it. Or what they're banking on is you bring it up by accident because you don't know the difference.
Right.
So that's why he has a movie called Escape from Death Block 13. Right? He has a movie called Once Upon a Time in Deadwood. Yeah. It is literally just he takes a famous movie, property, show, whatever, and makes an absolute piece of shit movie that is similar in title. Yeah. So that he can get glom on to those searches. Mm-hmm. That's it. Which is he's a ripoff artist, 100%.
Absolutely.
So that's what you're getting here with old Rene Perez, along with Darkness Machine and just his general Daughtry like mentality. I think. The movie starts with just like a sick guitar solo, just like guitar solo soaked OK Corral shootout fight scene. And it's fun. It's bad. It's terrible. It looks like you have fucking somebody's buddy has access to a fucking Idlewild Old West show town, and they were like, you got 20 minutes, get in there, or else I'm gonna get yelled at by my boss. And it's just like it feels like a slightly higher budget like Community play in a lot of ways. Like the duder acts like it's the first time pulling the hammer on a revolver. Like it's like the action is okay at times, but there's like terrible CGI blood splatter. The mics are so fucked up in so many instances. There's a time, it's actually early on when he goes into the bounty office.
Yeah.
The other dude's mic's not on.
Yeah, I have a note about that. It says, nothing says Old West like microphone hiss.
I mean, I honestly think his mic wasn't on, and you're just picking up his voice from the other dude's mic.
Well, yeah, it's not on, and then what they did is they tried to raise the levels. Right. They raised the levels, but with that, you get the microphone floor, and so you get the hiss in there. So it's just fucking awful.
Oh my god, it's so fucking bad.
We start with this Old West shootout. Mm-hmm. Did anybody just feel completely thrown when the main character speaks his first line?
Yeah, his voice is not a cowboy voice.
Very high, very high.
It's like a guy, he just like this kid just came out of like Juilliard or something like that and came to the old, like he fell into a portal in a porta potty and showed up in the Old West and was like, I guess I'm a bounty hunter now.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
He's just like, and the poster said, dead or alive. I'm going to get you.
He couldn't be less badass. That's why I said, like.
You just made him sound like Towley.
It was close.
You guys want to get high? I'm going to get you.
If the main protagonist in your badass supernatural gunfighter movie, and listen, I'm not a tough guy. I could beat the shit out of 3 of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He is so unintimidating.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes, like, I have no doubt Wesley Snipes would whip my ass. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But this dude is so He has no physicality. He weighs 140 pounds soaking wet. Like he struggles to pull the hammer back. At one point, he has the gun in one hand. He uses the other hand to pull the hammer back because it's too hard for his little dainty Juilliard fingers. Yeah. It's just, oh my God, it's crushing. It's crushing. And he is just like, the only reason he got the job is because he's good enough looking that you would see and say, oh, that's a leading man.
Right.
And you wouldn't go like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know
But
what I
like
mean?
not for a Western though.
No, probably
Like
shouldn't be.
He
Shouldn't
looks
be.
like he would be a good banker in a Western movie.
Yeah.
Or he would be a good, like, fucking the guy who moved away from the city to start a bed and breakfast in his hometown who meets the romantic lead of a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah. A fancy lad who moved from the big city.
Yeah, and now wears flannels and
Yeah. And it's even highlighted even worse because there are other characters in this film that either do Old West better, like have the gruffer, accent and everything,
right?
Or there's the other bounty hunter who is way more heroic looking.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That guy actually looked like he would be a good German, like, because that's what they call him, the German.
The German,
they should have just swapped those too.
Because he's so more heroic, and he even comes in as the hero at the end.
Yeah.
He was like, man, that guy was a bitch, right? All right, we out.
Yeah.
Like, it was... Oh, we also forgot to mention, Meg, I just remembered when you were talking about just badassery, we forgot to mention DDP in your movie.
He was in it for like one scene.
I know, but he had some... His lines were so DDP. They were like, get over here, bitch. Yeah. They were so good. I lulled at that. Anyway, my favorite scene of this dickhead, because he was trying to seem really badass, he's like hopping over logs and all this shit, but then like in Meg's movie, when like the one guy who was a bad actor and had like his hair sucked and he looked like an idiot, but like when he got off a horse, the guy who gets turned into a vampire basically, and saves him at the end, like when he gets off the horse, he doesn't, you're like, oh, he worked on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he looks natural. He looks guy looks like he's been riding horses his whole life, even if he hasn't. Like he did a good job there. This fucking guy has never been outside, I don't think.
Help,
like,
catch me, I'm coming down.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like he rides side saddle, I bet. He's really genuinely that bad. But the scene when... So I'll set the scene because nobody should ever watch this movie. There is this like daughtry fucking ass song, which is clearly Darkness Machine, his band, that is running, and it's called, I'm gonna assume it's called No More Dark Skies. The lyrics are fucking hilariously bad and cringy, and it felt like the lyrics were almost like auto-generated.
Yeah.
They were like, my sorrow in the darkest rainy skies. Like, it was really fucking so bad.
It rolls so hard.
But listen, when that was happening and he feeds the horse the apple, I don't know why I lost it. It's like, my sorrow, I'm a badass. And he's just like, here, horse, have an apple. I'm going to crunch mine. Let's have an apple together, horsey. It was just something about that scene fucking killed me because they were so drawn out.
Yeah, it is absolutely, we can't afford to even write a song that sounds like Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
But God, we desperately want to give those vibes.
Yeah. Oh, it was so bad.
I feel like that song and just like it really just emulates how awkward I think even just the interactions and like how people talk. Like people are not good actors in this movie.
No. They've done a bad job. The prospector, that he asks to watch his horse. It was definitely his first acting gig. Like he was someone's uncle for sure.
Well,
His
there's like
accent
a pause
changes. Yeah.
There's like a pause before each line.
Yep.
Like, let me remember it real fast, and then let's go. Or let me read it, and then go.
Yeah, it's almost like he was reading off of cue cards. It was like it was a fucking SNL sketch or something like that. And then, I really... the one guy, Jebediah, tall. I call him Tall Hat Jeb. He was like when he was creeping in the woods on the only lady in the Old West with implants.
Yeah.
There's no judgment, but just no
judgment.
I didn't know they had them back then. I didn't know they had those back then.
Yeah, it's definitely a note I have of huge frontier boobs.
That's the thing too. The thing I liked about that scene the most is they show she's undressing. She's bathing in a pasture, as one does, but just her boobs were dirty, so she's just washing her boobs. And then
hey guys, boob set is real. Like
I get it, but like you know what I mean. If you in the Old West, I imagine you don't get a lot of opportunities to bathe. It's probably a whole event. You know what I mean? You got to you got to scrub everything and stuff. No, she was just like, just got to tidy up the boobs. But the best part was after Jebediah is creeping on her, Tall Hat Jeb is trying to hide. Like he's the size of a fucking Mini Cooper, and he's trying to hide in the fucking weeds. After she catches him and it's like, get the fuck out of here, Jeb, or whatever, they play this music that's like, oh, poor Jeb.
Yeah. It's just like ding dong.
Yeah, it was like, oh, poor Jeb.
In trouble again.
He was just trying to creep on, yeah, it was so strange.
Was the song called Boys Will Be Boys?
What's that?
Was the song called Boys Will Be Boys?
Yeah, honestly, God, that's what it felt like for sure. But then you get probably what are the most like the scenes that I like the most, which were there's a fucking like a meteor has fallen, and they find the meteor, and the two dumbass rednecks take a wheelbarrow, bring the meteor back, and it's glowing green. They crack it in half, a bunch of fucking gas and spores and all this shit come out of it. But the whole scene when they break it open and they all start getting, it just reminded me of the scene in Joe Dirt where they're like, oh no, poison mustard gas.
That thing did kind of look like the meteor poop.
Because they were outside in the middle of town, and none of them ran away. None of them stepped back. They all just stood right there and went, oh.
And they're so stupid throughout that entire scene. Yeah. It's so laughable because they're like, we found this where there's nothing growing out there. Do you think this could be poisoning the trees? And it's like, well, what if it's poisoning us? And it's like, we're not trees, stupid.
Yeah, he's like, how do you know it's not going to poison us? He's like, because we ain't goddamn trees.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, okay.
I see the logic.
Yeah, I follow that. I follow.
You get what you deserve on this one.
Yeah. I watched this back to back with so I watched all three movies within a couple of days, and it's funny because compared to Bloodrayne, some of the performances in here are like Oscar worthy, but compared to Gallowwalkers, they're laughably bad. You know what I mean? So it's just like it was such a stark contrast. It was wild. But so some of the other things that, because like I said, I'm not going to go through the plot here, but it turns them into zombies, right? They turns them into like fucking screaming rage zombie kind of thing, but they're like kind of intelligent, and they like kind of go through the woods and all this stuff. So you come to learn, you don't know why, but the main guy is trying to get money, and he keeps talking about how it's for a good cause, and the bounty he's trying to find is for this like Native American like warrior guy who apparently like raped and murdered this woman, right? That's what he's been accused of, and he has killed multiple bounty hunters that have come looking for him. So they cross each other's paths, of course, and then they got to be friends. And then he buys a lady.
Yeah.
Question mark. He buys a lady from Jeffrey Epstein of the Old West. Really. Yeah. And then he's just like, we're going to use her as bait. And the way he does it is just like he gets a tent stake and like puts it in the ground. And then apparently that's strong enough to keep a grown woman down. I don't know. But
it's pretty racist in itself. It's just like, you know how you catch an Injun, you put a white woman on a stake.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's not what he said.
It's like,
and you know what? It fucking works. First try within a minute.
Yeah. He gets the one that he wants too.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be like super stealthy, but the first time you see him, he's just standing on the edge of like the only rock in a prairie, just standing there. He's like, do I smell white woman? Like he comes running. It's just like, it's so fucking stupid. So yeah, there's just like so many padding shots in here. The guy is hunting. He's just standing on a cliff. We talked about we ain't trees, ain't we ain't trees. Oh, that's what he says.
You ain't trees, you idiot.
We ain't trees, you idiot. Which is the best Old West insult. I love calling people an idiot. Yeah, idiot. The fight scene, they were really trying, but like both the guy who plays the Native American like warrior and of course the main character are both the most uncoordinated theater kids of all time with no strength or coordination at all. So it's just like really, really poorly done. And then, you get the mutant zombies kind of come into the town, and that's when kind of all hell breaks loose. And they always sneak up on like a woman as she's like unbuttoning her blouse. So when she runs, she has to be like boobs out while she's running. Happens several times. And then you get a gratuitous, listen, I'm no prude, but the gratuitous blood squirt on the boobies. And you know what? I just want to point out, neither of you guys' movies have that.
No, we don't.
Neither of you have blood squirt on boobies.
We have more horses. You just have way more boobs and blood squirting onto boobs.
How many boobs equal one horse?
Good question.
I mean, so
what's the conversion rate? I haven't checked.
So you measure horses in hands. So 2. It would be 2, like I would say actually. So
like one set of boobs equals one horse. Because then I'm a 5-horse. I got a 5-horse movie here.
And like what? Like I don't even. Someone can like correct this. Like say an average horse height is like 14 hands. So let's say 7.
So yeah, it's way off, Brian. You don't have.
Oh, you're talking about the height of the horse. I get you.
Yeah,
okay.
I was trying.
I don't know shit about horses. All right, so I need like 1,000 boobs to get to. Yeah,
I'm here for the horse facts, guys.
All right,
falling short on the boobs. Sorry, dude.
yeah, I needed like 5 times as many boobs. The bird. We talked about this German bounty hunter shows up. You don't learn anything about him, and then he shows up at the end to finish the movie and just like be the hero. It's so stupid. Yeah. Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No.
But I don't understand because they do an okay job with some of the zombie makeup. Mm-hmm. And they even have some okay gore effects, like practical effects, but then they still use the CGI blood splatter for like every gunshot, which just
that was really awkward. I didn't like that, but I did actually like the zombies though. I thought they were kind of neat.
Yeah, I have a note. The best performance in the whole movie, I think, is the lady zombie. That is the blatant Evil Dead 2 ripoff.
Yeah, with the nightie, she's wearing like a fucking negligee. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She has a great like monster performance. It's not bad. It reminds me of the Silent Hill nurses.
Yes, very much so. That's what I wrote down. Reminds me of the Silent Hill nurses, sans hat, and she also is by far the most makeup effects they spent. The most time on her by far. Yeah. So she wasn't on screen that much, which kind of, I mean, it was an okay scene, but yeah, she was definitely the best looking like creature. The one other thing I'll say about the main guy, because most of this is just me fucking ripping on him, is for like a fucking gunfighter, bounty hunter, badass, I've never seen anybody have more problems with their gun. He can't count bullets.
No.
Like 5 fucking times he pulls the trigger and there's not another bullet in there.
Yep.
Like you do that once and be like, oh, he 1 bullet, he was short or whatever. No, he is incapable of counting rounds. Yeah. And it comes back around like 4 or 5so times. It's absolutely
does he even know how to count?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is there something else?
So like, I'm gonna,
this may all play into, and I'm sure it doesn't. It's just he's a shitty actor and he's, it's shitty writing. But we can all roll this into his backstory.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to get to. I was like, okay, after this is what I wrote at the time when him and the Native American warrior guy are sitting down telling each other basically their backstory, and it's so predictable. The other guy, which was he obviously didn't rape and kill the white woman. They had fallen in love. The father found out. It was like, you know what I mean? It was that type of thing, which you knew was going to be the case the second you saw him, because you're like, oh no, he's too good looking to be a rapist. He has been falsely accused. Yeah.
It's very To Kill a Mockingbird. He's a falsely accused, you know? Yeah.
But then the main guy, this is what I wrote. Wait. I just wrote wait, period. So our hero and romantic lead is a child rapist, a groomer child rapist. So no, like not where I thought it was going. Now he murders people to support and force marriage on his pregnant child bride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No bueno.
There's no plot holes in that one.
Yeah.
My note.
This guy's the biggest. He's absolutely the biggest villain in the movie.
Absolutely. My note read, "Ew, did the hero just admit to being a ped?"
Yes, 100%. Keevan's like, she was very young, but boy, was she pretty. Like, it was, and then he was like, and we fell in love, and she wasn't ready, but I took advantage of her, and now I'm going to marry her, and I'm going to pay her rent. I'm going to pay her rent so it'll make up for the fact that I seduced and raped a child.
God.
Like,
So
it's brutally bad.
Like, even some of that dialogue could be like, you could look at the context a little differently of she was just an innocent person, but there's a line he says at the very beginning that confirms that he took advantage of a child, because they're talking about the woman that he was using as bait. She's now along with their party, and she's up in a room, and they're talking about the Native American and the hero, quote, are talking about their women, and the Native American asks him, does Rhiannon, who's the woman upstairs, does she remind you of your special lady? And he says, yes, but Rhiannon's a grown woman. She can make her own choices. Yeah. And it's like, ew, that means that your woman isn't grown and she can't make her own choices.
No.
What the fuck?
He basically says, like, if I pay the mortgage, they'll continue to let me victimize their daughter. Like that's pretty much what he says.
Do you think there's any scenario? I just want to feel a little bit better about this right now. Do you think there's any level of like just ignorance in how it was written, and they're just like, it just comes like us being us, and we're like, did they just say that? And it's not really what they meant. Like,
I think it's, I think it's ignorance in like the way it would be read by audiences, especially today. So I think it's easy to admit that, like, yes, this probably went on back in that day.
Sure.
Yeah, but people also got married when they were 13 back
right.
then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not good or bad. That's just that would have been a regular thing.
Yeah. So sure, it happened back then, but it's not what we want out of our heroes.
Sure. Right.
Yeah. They're like,
yeah, this didn't happen. This isn't a fictional account.
Right.
You can make it anything.
Yeah.
You made this up.
Yeah, you made it up, bro. We're not talking Ulysses
It's not
S.
like
Grant.
we're telling the real story of Billy the Kid, and you're like, well, warts and all, this is the real story.
Yeah.
No, this is a character you made up.
Yeah, you made up
the
a
story
pedophile.
would be fine if he just like didn't mention her being like super young.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could have been a fine, like, admirable story if it wasn't like,
I did forget to mention to you guys that Rene Perez also
is a pedophile.
He also directed Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, no.
Jeez, really?
No. No, the guy who directed Jeepers Creepers is a pedophile. That was and wrote a story about being a pedophile, basically. That's what Jeepers Creepers is about.
Yeah. And also directed Powder, I think.
Yeah.
And was a pedophile on the set of Powder. Like,
Yeah, I don't know anything about Rene Perez, but it's this. Some of the subtext is not flattering.
Well, now hold on. Did Rene Perez write the script? Yeah, he did. Never mind.
Yeah, written, directed.
I was trying to see if maybe he just went with a script that he didn't read.
Yeah. No, he does this ripoff thing. Like that is his whole shtick.
Well,
that's the only way he makes money.
You can hire people to write you bad scripts for like $1,000 because they think they're gonna be in Hollywood. I would know because I was part of that scam once. So
yeah. This was another one. Going back to the main character is just like an acting school kid. It was around the time where they're having this discussion. He says something about gold, and he goes, "What's gold?" Did you hear that? What's gold? I just I lulled at that one.
Hold on, I can't get off of this.
Yeah.
Why did the actor not ask for those lines to be changed?
I don't know.
It's the only time it comes up. It's the only scene it comes up.
Well, this is the other thing that these bad movies, they always, we said it in Bloodrayne, they all want to be edgier than they've earned.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's that.
I don't know.
I don't like that response. I don't think it actually justifies how terrible all those lines were.
It doesn't justify it, but it's just like that's how they're bad at their job. They've done a bad job. They've made a bad movie. They failed at what they set out to do. They made the movie, but they did a bad job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just picking apart a really piece of shit movie. Like, why do they continue to stay in this town? Why did the Native American warrior guy get motorboated by zombie Jebediah? Like, why that? You know, that's not what zombies do. They like bite your neck or your face or something. He just like goes after his solar plexus. Like, I don't understand what
I think the effect was supposed to be that he ate out his heart.
That's what I was hoping, but then that never happens.
He had something in his mouth, but it just looks bad. It doesn't play. Yeah.
No,
I feel like most things in this movie, they probably just had access to like something they could use in that scene, like with however like the blood came out. They're like, yeah, well, he has to bite him there. That's it.
Right.
Like, I feel like everything is so literal in this.
yeah, it's very surface level. I like that when he gives the dancer, whatever her name is or whatever, or I forget who it was. He gives the one girl. No, she's not a dancer. She's just the girl he bought. He gives her the little single shot pistol. It's basically like a riverboat gambler type pistol.
Yeah.
And she comes around the corner. There's a zombie, and it's apparently the noisy cricket of the Old West.
It was the loudest gunshot.
And it blasts him 10 feet back off his feet.
Yeah.
I was like, what? It's the gun is 3 inches big.
Right.
And it was like it was a joke. Like it really was like the gag, the noisy cricket gag in Men in Black. I'm gonna skip through a bunch of this really shitty stuff because then eventually he just becomes a badass and all of a sudden he's good at guns and just fucking blows everybody away. And
the
then
hero's way.
And it just becomes an Old West zombie first-person shooter for a minute, and then just the climax is him getting into a physical altercation, and then ultimately getting munched by a zombie, and then he, of course, the woman he bought for like $5, he gives her the money, and she has been his captor, she has been his captive, and now he died. And the right thing would have been her going, "Ha, fuck you, dickhead, take the money and run." But instead, she's like, "I'll go find your child bride and make sure she's taken care of." And he goes, "She'll be easy to find. She's the most beautiful girl in the world."
Which now here's
buy a pretty dress so I can look down on her, so I can continue to groom her from the clouds.
Oh God!
There's so many funny things happening in this scene.
Oh, that last scene is so bad
because she doesn't know that she's a child bride. She doesn't know she's looking for a child bride.
No, so she's going to show up and she's going to be 11 and she's going to go, "Eee." Yeah.
But then he has another line, which his whole death is way better than Jada Pinkett in Scream 2. But
oh, yeah. It's there, yeah.
So protracted. But he has a line where he says, "Don't tell her how I died because it'll give her nightmares." Because children have nightmares.
You know what else gives children nightmares? Being raped, sir.
Yeah.
You rapist. Here's what I wrote down. I said,
Oh
why
my
is she
God.
so loyal to this piece of shit? He bought her, used her as bait. She saved him. Now she's going to pick up his cause?
Well, was she
I
still
wrote,
a
fuck
captive?
that guy. That's
Because
yeah,
he said, once you help me get the guy, then you're free.
Yeah, but still, he hasn't made good on any of that.
I know. I'm not trying to defend this guy.
She I just wrote, fuck that guy, piss on his corpse and take his money.
The only good thing he did was him and the Native American traded off carrying her back to town.
That's literally all they did for him. And she had a scrape. It's not like her leg was off. You know, she just had what appeared to be like poison ivy that she itched too much. And they were like, we're going to carry you the whole way back to town. And now she has like undying loyalty to the man who bought her and used her as bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a completely irredeemable main
Sometimes
character.
you got to use the situation to your advantage. I wouldn't have wanted to walk that entire way either.
I have a theory.
I'm hurt. Carry me.
I'm a horse girl. I'm used to riding a horse. My horse. I have a theory. The German hunk that just shows up in a sling, his arm's obviously injured, shows up, just cleans house and fucking saves the day. He's German Blade.
Yeah.
And he just fucked everything up. And the movie we've been watching is one of those like dual screen experiences of this other asshole that's like a minor character, and that's his story that's just a companion to the main story, which is German Old West Blade.
Right.
And we're just seeing the bookends to that. That's all.
Yeah. It's very possible that this German guy is actually a vampire, which is why he's unaffected by the bite, aside from it, just being an injury, a surface level injury.
And he's also fucking clean.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's pants aren't even dirty.
No.
Like, he's just been walking around fucking everybody up.
Yeah. He's buff, taking baths, shooting zombies. He has no problem surviving in this world. It doesn't bother him.
Yeah.
He's also obviously not a pedophile.
This movie's fucking trash.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. It was what I would describe as barely watchable. But like, I didn't turn it off, but I will put it this way. If I wasn't watching it for the show, I probably would have turned it off. And it takes a lot for me to turn a movie off. Like, this movie, the only thing that kept it good was making fun of the main character. Like, that's the only thing that made it fun, is how dumb and how you hated him and he wasn't cool, and then you learn his backstory is that he's actually fucking despicable, like, on top of all this. Like, it just was it was just insult to injury. So yeah don't watch it. That's what I would say. Don't watch it.
Don't tell people what to do.
I feel like I really have to watch
Let them make their own decisions.
I have to watch Death Kiss now, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I am going to watch Death Kiss. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Huge Rene Perez guy. Don't get me wrong.
I'm just I see that there's a second one, but it's like The Dead and the Damned and The Darkness.
I think there's 3.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, I saw the third one advertised in my Up Next on Tubi.
No.
and then you dove and yanked the cord out of the wall for your TV before it started.
Yoink.
But Tubi
so Rene
didn't turn
Perez
off.
didn't get that dime or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a piece of shit, guys. So that's where we're at here. Now, let's start out. Because this could be interesting. I don't think this is one of those ones where we just go like, hey, we're all going to vote for our own movie and then we're going to go to second. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't know either, but I went into this feeling one way, and now I feel a little bit differently. Especially after talking to you guys, and I feel like I was just going to go for the one that I thought was like literally the worst out of all of them, which in a lot of ways I did feel like was mine. But I don't know. Socially, I don't feel that same way. That's where I'm going to start. And gauge your guys' thoughts.
Okay. I feel like my vote is going to be the most obvious. I feel like you guys know what I'm going to do.
You're going to vote for mine.
I'm going to vote for Gallowwalkers because
Okay.
I genuinely enjoyed it. I understand what that says about me, but I had a lot of fun with this
Stop
movie.
getting
And
high and watching movies.
No, that's my leisure activity. I smoke
Steve,
weed
stop telling
and
people
watch
what-
bad movies. That's what I do.
To pause for 2 seconds. 1 out of 5 horse stars for you. Just heads up. Sorry, I
Poor
couldn't forget.
horse stars.
I couldn't figure. I couldn't.
I
forget
knew
that.
I wasn't coming strong with horse
Yeah.
stars.
No fault
I
on
do
the
like
horse.
that they're not even other horse stars, which I imagine is our ninja stars designed for killing horses.
I've seen that in the Jet Li movie, I think.
Oh yeah, 1 out of. I mean, yeah, this is. I'm lucky to get 1 horse star. I mean, it might even be a half horse star situation. But yeah, I'm gonna vote for Gallowwalkers because I'm gonna watch that movie again at some point.
I'm sorry.
Steve, I've done so many things to damage Steve and I's friendship today. He has looked at me with disgust on at least 3 occasions today.
I don't think it's disgust. I think it's puzzlement. There's a lot of puzzlement.
I'm a complicated guy.
I just have a hard time imagining anybody watching Gallowwalkers again voluntarily and eating a tub of cottage cheese with black pepper on it. It doesn't sound. It doesn't sound like a real existence in my head. But
I won't have a shirt on, and I'll just be I'll just be sitting there in my underwear.
Steve,
Stoned out of my gourd.
He's in your underwear is gonna have Tubi all over it too.
Yeah.
Be tidy whities that you had marker Tubi all over it.
Tubi whiteys.
Tubi whitey.
Yeah. My underwear says on the crotch says to be, and then on the butt it says or not to be. I also, not coincident, but to give you a mindset of where I was at when I watched this movie. After I watched this movie, I went into the kitchen, opened the fridge door to get something to eat, and Kate had bought these grapes that are humongous.
Okay.
They're like the size of fucking plums. And I was like, I'll send you a video. I stopped and made a video. And I was like, what are these big ass fucking grapes? What's happening? I was so stoned. Anyway, I was like, how are grapes this big? You had to be there. All right. So guys, what do you think?
Okay. Sorry if I'm cutting you off, Steve. I think I'm actually going to stick to my original thought with walking into this, since we were choosing what we thought to be the worst movies. I'm going to vote for the worst movies in order. I don't think mine's the worst. Okay. I'm going to go Brian and then Steve's and then mine.
Okay.
That's how I'm voting.
So
You thought mine was worse than Steve's?
Because of the pedophile. Because honestly, I thought
okay.
it was better at first, and then we talked about the pedophile, and I somehow maybe I didn't catch on.
No,
but
fair. You're right, fair.
Yeah, so that makes it worse.
So that's a vote for Brian and a vote for Gallowwalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So it comes down to me, and I think this is the first time that I'm not picking my movie. I'm not going to vote for my movie outright. I think it's the first time. And I'm going to vote for The Dead and the Damned. No.
Yes.
No.
Were you going in the realm of like which is worse? Is that what you were feeling like, or?
Well, there are... So Gallowwalkers has nice elements to it, right? There's nothing nice about The Dead and the Damned. The cinematography is shit. The editing is shit. Everything is shit. The script is shit. And what makes this a better, worse movie than mine is like mine is too competent. It's competent and fucking boring. Whereas
if it was standard, it is on the upper echelon of Uwe Boll movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that hurt it more than anything.
And it just comes across as white noise. Whereas watching The Dead and the Damned, I would actually watch that again if it came out as like a Riff Tracks or a Mystery Science Theater, or even if we did it like that, because there is something wrong in every scene. Whether it's fucking microphone
horrifyingly bad,
or a bad effect, or the script comes up fucking stupid, or like there's so many fucking dumb bad lines in this movie that made me laugh. And then I out of all three of these movies, I laughed my ass off at the death scene of the pedophile, where he's telling this woman to go find his child bride and annoy her and not give her nightmares, and then tell her to wear a pretty dress so I can be a pervert from heaven. I didn't stop laughing that entire scene, and that's why I had the vote for. It's so
that works.
fucking wrong.
You know what's funny? This is a movie that I picked. If you recall, I had mentioned that I was gonna, when we decided we were gonna go lowbrow on this, I was gonna pick Gallowwalkers because I had seen it before, and I remember thinking this is bad. But then I was like, you know what? Let me just try a couple more. And the next up in line on Tubi was Dead and the Damned. I started it. I watched 10 minutes. And I was like, this is my movie. Yeah. And it, because it was so fucking bad right from the beginning. And the music is really what initially, I was like, there are some like really poorly performed guitar solos happening behind CGI squibs. And this is only going to get worse. And it did not disappoint. Yeah. It did not disappoint.
I had no idea the depth that this one would sink to. And it's,
it was really, I did not expect the whole pedophile heel turn. It was really bizarre. Oh boy.
And it has the most boobs. And it has the most boobs. So.
It does.
Yeah. Adult boobs, so that's great.
Yeah, really. I mean, when you have to make that differentiation, I genuinely feel, I don't want to say guilty, but I do feel some shame for taking the championship in this set of circumstances.
Get an asterisk next to it.
Yeah. It's like you win the fight because you like hid in the corner while everyone else punched each other to death. And then you're like, I'm the winner.
I mean, Brian, you also won, our first Secret Satan.
That's true.
Because you got a better movie. It's
I win the absolute just bottom of the barrel battles.
Yeah, you've won. Yeah, you've won some grimy fights, and that's okay.
I get it done dirty. I'm a bottom feeder. I'm the catfish of this trio here. I'm content to just suck the scum off the bottom of the pond. But because of that, I am not going to go too dirty. I'm not going to do you too dirty, but I would like to do an official. I'm not sure yet, but I am leaning towards the idea. I would love to do. Steve, I think you watched it. And if you did already, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do something else because I have 3 or 4 different ones that I'm thinking about doing. The Boxer's Omen. Did you end up watching it?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't. Yeah.
It's bonkers.
Yeah. It is. It's
a real bonkers.
Wild fucking movie.
Yeah, there's a couple of movies that are kind of in that realm that I'd like to perhaps discuss. So we will see. Yeah.
I think we should do that one at some point. But I mean, it's March. If you wanted to throw a Leprechaun in there, I don't think the audience would be mad about that. If you wanted to...
Do we do Leprechaun in the Hood?
We could do it in the Hood. We could do it in space, since Amityville in space got a lot of recognition.
That's true. That's true. All right. I'll ruminate. Yeah. I'll ruminate on this. But it's going to be an absolute piece of shit, you guys. All right. March Showdown is in the books, and 2.5 hours. That's not bad, considering we have traditionally been 3 or even as much as 4 hours before.
Well, when the movies are fun to talk about, sure.
Yeah. These movies were absolute horseshit. But check back in for a little, like I said, a quote unquote punishment episode. Your boy gets to pick what we talk about on next week's mini-sode. I'm gonna make it fun. I'm not gonna make it because, like I said, I know I didn't earn this one, right? I came out on top. The pogs landed face up for me, but it really wasn't a skill. So we're going to do something wild and fun. But you probably should start throwing us some more suggestions, because just in a couple of quick weeks here, we're going to be selecting what our April Showdown episode will be. And not too long after that, we're getting into May, and then we're getting into June, and then we're getting into our 1 year anniversary. Believe it or not, is not that far away. So I would love to just do something fucking wacky, whether it be our Royal Rumble idea or something just bonkers batshit for that one. So if you've got any ideas or any suggestions that way, check us out. If you don't already, over on the social medias, but also send them damn directions that way. Like I said, slide on in, warm your hands up. Right? Don't come in all cold, clammy. Warm your hands up, slide into the DMs, give us some of those suggestions, and then we will bring them. We'll take them into consideration.
I especially after what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Should be a little cautious about that.
You don't love that? You don't love it? All right, fair enough.
I didn't love it before. I don't love it now.
This episode has definitely left me feeling like I need to go squeegee down in a field.
Yeah.
Just
I need to go. I need to go clean my tits. Yeah. And on that note, I'm gonna go clean my tits. Well, thank you for joining us for another Showdown episode of Halloween is Forever. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
Oh, I'm gonna go wash my tits. Bye.